What's going on, guys? Pete and over here with the Faceoff Sports Network. I'm joined by my colleague Michael Hoff, and we're going to do just a short, quick show. We're going to do a best ball draft on DraftKings. We have about an hour, and then we both got to get out of here. So we'll give the chat maybe like 5 minutes, and then we'll load up a draft. We're going to do, I believe it's the $3 Hoff, the $3 draft.
Yeah, the NFL Best Ball $1.5 million play action, $3 on DraftKings. It's a 20 max entry.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do that. Let me make sure I have money in my account real quick.
How many entries do I have? So far, I've got 4 entries so far.
Yeah,
I
here we
actually
go.
did one today.
You know, it's always funny when when like apps pop up and they say like, "Are you enjoying this or that?" And I just get so annoyed by it. I just say like, "No," every time now, and it
See,
doesn't
I don't
help
want to.
because it still asks me a follow up question, so it doesn't
Right.
change anything.
Yeah, that's why I try and ignore the no because I feel like I'm going to get more questions.
Right.
By the way, while you're checking your account, shout out to the fine people of Lemon Perfect. Sent me a whole bunch of bottles today, so appreciate that. Delicious stuff.
Very nice. Oh yeah, little promo there.
Little organic lemon water, 0 sugar. Got all different flavors: lemon,
Hell
watermelon, iced tea, lime. Then some other flavors I'm not as interested in, but maybe you are. Maybe that's why you should look for it.
There you go. Sam said,
Yeah,
"Tell us why you said no." He's talking to me or you?
I think he's talking to you about saying no that you don't enjoy apps. I think that's the only no we really talked about.
It could be. I don't know. I just get annoyed by the fact that they ask me. I mean, I get it, but I always feel like if I hit no, it's not gonna take me for some reason to the next screen and force me to like write a review or leave a review, but it doesn't change anything. So
Yeah, no, either way they're gonna ask.
yeah, I don't know why I do anything. All right, so we have a couple more here popping through. Let's just let me see. Hold on.
Where
All right,
okay, let me see.
let's just go ahead and get in there and let's just start it up.
Every time I'm about to play the Jeopardy music, that's when you kick it into high gear. All right. So all right. So you ready to hit draft team?
Yeah, screw it. Well, people are gonna fill in as they can, but we'll just go ahead and enter. You ready?
All right. Yep. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. So there we go.
All right, I'm waiting.
Oh, gotta wait there. Okay, here we go. Boom. Done.
Actually, don't you know what? I don't even see how many people are in here so far.
Well,
It's
did
not
you
telling me.
scroll down and hit join draft again? Man, make sure it's on slow. Yep, mine
Whoa.
says 6 out of 12.
What do you mean on slow? You mean fast? I have 7 out of
Fast.
12.
Fast. I meant yeah, fast.
7 out of 12. JT said drafted 4 BBM today. All right. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice little
yeah.
$100
Mine
right
says
there.
7 as well.
If you
All
guys
right.
are if you guys want to join, we're 7 out of 12 right now. We are in just $3 DraftKings. Hopefully we get enough people to join soon, or we may have to switch rooms. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I guess while we wait to fill the air, till this fills, recent news, right? George Pickens gets traded to the Dallas Cowboys. How are you feeling about that, Hoff?
Well, I would warn some people if somebody tries to offer them George Pickens right away for say a Kyron Williams, I would say to hold back on that sort of thing. I like it. I think it's better for Dak and for CD than it's going to be for Pickens. I just kind of you look at those wide receiver twos under Schottenheimer, and I get it. He's a different animal than some of the other wide receivers that Schottenheimer has had, but it's just a lot of 70 targets, 70 targets, 70 targets. There was a wide receiver 8 at one point from the second wide receiver. That was one of the years when he was in Seattle. I'm more so basically. I'll tell you how I feel once I see where his draft cost settles. Like, let's see where that ADP goes within the next few days.
Yeah, I will say, I have, I mean, I've seen, I always like to look at Dynasty Daddy to check to see the recent trades that guys are involved in. I looked at Pickens and looked at DK, and crazy enough, uh, Pickens has been, I mean, DK's value, he's been, he's been traded a ton, but he's also been traded for a lot more. Pickens is actually the number 3 overall traded player
Mm.
since the 7th of last month. Olave being number 1 in terms of this scrapes all sleeper. And I want to say, I don't know. It's other outside of sleeper it pulls from.
Okay.
So there you go. We have one more spot open here.
Yes, sir.
But in terms of some trades that I saw, I actually just a bunch more just went down recently. I just recorded an episode for Player Profiler a couple hours ago, and I didn't see some of these, but Sam Laporta for George Pickens in a non tight end premium. I'll take Laporta there. Pickens and Tyreek Hill. Um, that's a half PPR. I think I'd still prefer Tyreek Hill. Pickens for Isaiah Pacheco and Isaiah Garendo. I think I would take Pickens there pretty
Yeah,
comfortably. I also
sure.
see Pickens for the 108, which is interesting.
Yeah,
It's a hefty price. I think I would prefer the pick.
I don't mind. I know. I know. This morning in the group chat with we were talking about it. I know I seemed a little sour on it. I just want to temper expectations, see where the draft price goes. But I mean, if the price is reasonable, then I'm cool with it. And I guess the other thing to keep in mind is this running game. It's not like they have Ezekiel Elliott and the beefed up offensive line, so they could need to throw more. So I don't. He's not going to get the target share he got with the Steelers. I could pull that up at some point, but he's also not going to get the target share Jalen Tolbert got last year either. So
Yeah,
happy medium.
I mean, I think the good thing is game script wise, they should be in a positive game script for to pass. I mean, because the running game stinks. I mean, they added
Right.
Jaden Blue. Um, that I mean, uh, he may not. Maybe he ends up being the starter next to Javante. I don't know. I don't expect much from the run game, so I expect him to be throwing a lot. Now, when talking about DK Metcalf, I mean, and I just posted this, but um, DK's going for more, and I mean, so DK averaged 121 targets over his career. So, with the
Sure.
move of Pickens, you sit there and you think to yourself, okay, DK is going to be a really nice buy because he's the only guy there and his volume should go up. But this is a guy that's seen a ton of volume. It's not like he's having issues seeing volume. I mean, he's averaging 121 targets a season. He's only given us one wide receiver one season, and he's only finished in the top of 20 inside the top 20 in points per game just once. Um, I mean, and I think the biggest concern with DK, which we've talked about, but I mean, this is a guy that doesn't really catch contested passes, right? Last year,
You're on the clock, good sir,
19%.
by the way. Just
Yeah,
case.
I see that. 19% when it comes to contested catch rate. Let's see. Hold on. I'm on the clock here. Gibbs or Lamb. I'm gonna go with Gibbs. I'll take Gibbs here. I'm getting into the habit of, unless it's Chase or Jefferson, I'm getting into the habit of taking a stud running back early
Okay.
in these drafts. But to finish what I was saying, I just, he's 100th in terms of qualified wide receivers with contested catch rate of 19%. That means out of every 10 targets, he only comes down with 2 of them when it's contested. That just goes to
Mm,
show. I mean, this guy has had a ton of volume, but he doesn't always come down with the ball. And then you look at the
sure.
fact that, I mean, who's throwing him the football right now? Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, maybe Aaron Rodgers if he eventually signs. I don't know. I did even hear an interesting theory on the Rodgers thing that I want to bring up in a moment, but I mean, what are your thoughts there? I mean, do you like DK? I mean, I think he's probably like a low end wide receiver too, maybe mid wide receiver two upside.
Sure. Yeah. No, and I mean, I do like him there. I mean, obviously we're not doing a lot of redrafts at this point, obviously, since we're only in May, but doing these best ball drafts, like for example, I started off with Malik Neighbors with the 7th pick in the first. I don't mind now going running back, and then when it's swinging back around, or even really 4th round is where I've been getting him. You can get DK Metcalf maybe there as your wide receiver too. I'll
Right.
take that, especially in best ball, because then I'm only worrying about the pop weeks. Just give me the pop weeks. Then I don't have to worry about, the contested catches and then what's going to go on with Pittsburgh and Arthur Smith. I know it's the running joke, but so I do like him for where he's going currently. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't love him, but I like him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. I don't know. I guess it just depends.
I feel
By the way, I'm
I feel like
looking.
you've never liked DK Metcalf. I could be wrong there, but
Well, I liked him. I liked him last year. By the way, I'm looking to try. I'm drafting on my phone, but I'm trying to pull it up on my computer, and I can't for the life of me find where the freaking the freaking lobby is. So should have
take
to
your
draft on
hands.
my phone, which is fine. Um, so I I've oh fuck. I was just about to say I don't think I've seen Bowers fall this far, but I don't draft a lot in DK. He usually goes like late first, early
Yeah.
second.
No,
Um,
this is and I've been doing drafts on DraftKings, and I could say, yeah, this is pretty this isn't where he usually goes. No,
yeah.
you're right on that.
Okay.
So you got Gibbs, you got 5 seconds left, and
Yeah,
you take Drake London.
I wanted to take Lad, but they're adding to that room. They had two really good backs. I like Lad. I think he's gonna be fine, but the Falcons defense stinks. They'll be in better game scripts to throw, and they still don't really have a ton of target competition outside. I mean, Mooney's okay. Man, I'll take London there.
I'll say this: I forget where I picked this morning when I did a best ball draft here on DraftKings, but it's literally starting out the exact same first 2 rounds. Malik
Hmm.
Neighbors, then Jonathan Taylor. Get
Now,
2 pillars right there, and then get to work.
so out of the crop of running backs that are on the board available, it's Bucky, Kyron, Chase Brown, James Cook, Brees Hall. Out of those five guys, who do you prefer?
So after Jonathan Taylor, you're asking me
The
if
guys,
I'm looking at that?
the guys on the
It's
board.
Kyron
Bucky,
Chase, James Cook, Brees, and then Amari
Bucky's last.
Hampton.
What about Bucky? Because Bucky just went now, but
Bucky
as I
went.
was asking the question, Bucky went.
Bucky would have been a good spot there. I personally like Kyron Williams. I know people seem to be worried about Kyron Williams. I think they're more worried about long term there in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I could definitely see McVay kind of going another way after this year. Not to say that's anything a knock against Kyron, but in terms of a best ball draft, and I only got to worry about him this year, I actually like Kyron Williams the most. I like him more than Bucky. Not by
Okay.
a ton, but I do.
No, that's fair. That's
And
fair.
then you go ahead, you take Chase Brown. Would Chase Brown be your favorite among those guys, including Bucky and Kyron?
I prefer Bucky. I prefer and Kyron are right there. I haven't really settled. At this point, we're so far out. I need to see how camp battles go and how these new acquisitions to both of these rooms go. But overall, I think I prefer Chase Brown only off the fact that that defense still really stinks, and I think he's going to see a lot of volume as a pass catcher. You know.
Yeah, I could see that. And then FFB shot caller says Bucky getting more volume in a great offense. So yeah, we'll see how that continues to go. I mean, people worried about it last year when Dave Canales left to go be the head coach of the Panthers. Now they're worried about it because now Liam Cohen goes and he goes over to Duval with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not I think I'm officially a believer. I was a little worried last year about how this offense would go. I'm not really worried about this offense now. I
Good.
mean, like, are you
Yeah,
are
you're
you
you're
you know, like the Bakers and all that?
you're coming on over. We
All right.
talked about it, right, with the Panthers. I know we talked about
Yeah.
Ted, and we've talked we've gone back and forth with Matt and Coach. Um, I'm a believer too. I mean, I don't know, that offensive line isn't bad, and I liked what I saw from Bryce Young. Am I going to sit here and act as though Bryce Young is going to be a top 10 quarterback this year? I don't think so. But
No.
I believe in Canales, and I also just think in general that I just think that offense is going to continue to take steps forward.
I mean, averaging 20 points, 7 points in those last 7 weeks. What happened over there? What's going on over there?
My cat, I didn't know if you heard heard her
I
cry to
heard
me
it.
in the mic. Yeah,
Yeah, I heard it.
yeah. But yeah,
Telling you to get your shit together.
they add Rico Dowdle. So they add some depth. They add Travis
Yes.
Etienne's brother Trevor. So I mean, they're adding pieces. And I think overall, I think this offense is going to be better than it was. So I'm in on it. I'm in on Tet. I think I think it's going to take a step forward this year. Now, Alvin Kamara is interesting to me. I would have taken Kamara over Mixon. I would take Kamara over Hampton right now. I would think I would take Kamara over James Cook. Um, I'm back in on Kamara this year. They didn't really add much to that room. I thought they would. They get a bump in play caller with Kellen Moore, and I'm interested in Kamara. What are your thoughts on him this year?
I'm definitely interested in Kamara. I was last year too. You got 3 seconds left on the clock there. There you go. You made your pick. Yeah, I mean the target share was still up there. I don't think the target share is going to change incredibly. He had the highest target share of any running back, 17%. Devon Achane right behind him with the 15%. So no, I like Kamara. I'm in on Kamara. James Cook might be the breaking point for me. I think I might do James Cook over Kamara, but when you talk
Yep.
about mixing, I would do Kamara over that. And I would have done Kamara over Hampton, who I took with the sixth pick in the fourth round. So no, I was in on Kamara last year, and I'm still in.
Yeah, I mean, and Sleaze is in here. He said, "What's up? What's up, Sleaze?"
What
Um,
up?
yeah, the thing with James Cook that the biggest concern that I have with him is 18 total touchdowns last year, 16.7 points per game, 11th in points per game. He wasn't even top 10 in points per game at the running back position with 18 total touchdowns. That's to me that's concerning because we're going to see regression in touchdowns. James Cook is not scoring 18 total touchdowns again this year. I mean,
No,
I just don't see a
I
world
agree
where
with
that
that.
happens. So if he makes it back to 6 to 8, right, which he was
Sure.
3 his rookie year, 6 his sophomore year, 18 his junior year, like I think he
Right.
probably falls back down to earth at 6 to 8. We're gonna need to see more out of him. I mean, he only rushed 207 times last year. That's almost. I mean, 7 off from a sub 200 rushing attempts. Now, 4.9 yards per carry. He's been good, but I think Allen aids him in that regard. But I don't know. I'm not.
Ah,
I don't know. With everything going on right now. Oh, Metcalf. Yeah, there you go.
yep. I
Um,
was looking for him.
with everything going on right now, I just yeah, with his contract situation, I'm not in. I'm just not in right now. Um,
Yeah. I don't know if he falls down to 6 touchdowns. I can see him falling down to 8, only because the Bills score so many points. I just don't see a world in where I mean, I guess I can't say I don't see a world, but I would be more inclined to say 8 instead of your 6 that you mentioned.
yeah, which
Um,
is fine. That's 10
but
total touchdowns less.
I do want to just again, we talked about DK Metcalf earlier, and the fact that he goes, where are we? Fifth round right now? I know I got to make a pick. Yeah, fifth
Yeah, fifth
round
round.
goes with the fourth pick in the fifth. I think that's a great spot to take him. Tight end, I'm up against it. Screw it. Let's go
I
tight end early.
Yeah, I was gonna take Kittle and I panicked and took Worthy. I'm a little pissed off because I
There we go.
wanted Debo Samuel. I didn't want Worthy. I would have taken Debo over Worthy right now. So I'm a little pissed off that I did that, to
Those
be
are
completely honest
those
with
are
you.
honestly two guys that are a little bit farther down the draft board than I would have expected. That being, I mean, I know there's the Knox and the Steelers offense and everything, but DK Metcalf and Debo Samuel right around this territory to get those guys when you realize you've already, you've started the foundation of your team and now you're adding them. I think it's good plays.
Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, I think it's a good land. I think it's a good mix for where they are. I mean, when you think about the risk, right? Like, they're not high end picks. You could see where they end up, performing really well, but you could also see like DK Metcalf going to be in a run heavy offense, and we don't know the quarterback.
Sure.
Debo Samuel, right? We've seen all his manufactured touches as a runner to score touchdowns. Jane Daniels, I mean, he's a guy that runs in touchdowns as well. So how much is he used in that kind of in that role? So we'll see.
Mm,
But by the way, McCaffrey at the 108.
I might
I'm
snipe your.
starting.
I'm probably going to snipe your ass right now.
I'm starting. I'm starting to buy back in to McCaffrey a little bit. I know we talked earlier the week. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable taking him. Um, so yeah, I'm buying back in a little bit.
And even along with that, I mean, not that he's going much later than that, but like 1-8 to me, I've seen him usually going like 110, 111. So I mean, but I'd still take him at 108. I've got some shares of him. I mean, it's hard to not believe in Christian McCaffrey as long as he's healthy. That's the whole bit. That's it. Besides that, we know what he is. We know he's incredible. And if you're getting him at that spot, I mean, it's hard not to like it. So I've got some shares. I'll continue to load up a bit. I will say the fun in the sun for McCaffrey is probably coming to an end, pretty soon, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I guess my thing with McCaffrey is this has been a concern with him his entire career is injuries, right? But
Right.
I mean, it's not like it was an ACL. It's not like he tore his Achilles. Like it's tendonitis. Like I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so like I'm not going to sit here and act as if I know how it affects guys when they play football. But he practically took a full year off. Like I
Yeah.
well, hold on, I'm on the clock here.
And well, but I'll just even as you get ready to pick, I'll even just mention like injuries was always a question mark for him. But I mean, he played in what 17 games in 2022, 16 games in 2023. So he did kind of put that to rest. But now, obviously, the conversation's back up. But if you have any other points on McCaffrey, you were
I
basically
mean,
saying he basically took a year off.
I mean, look, the arguments with McCaffrey, the first 3 seasons of his career, he played full seasons.
Right.
16 games, all three. Then he had the tough stretch between 2020 and 2021. Fine. 3 games, 7 games. We get
Mhm.
it. He only played 10 games. I get it, right? Those were tough stretches, but in 2022 and 2023, he played 17 and 16. And last year, it wasn't like, oh, he's got a hamstring and he keeps re-injuring it, or oh, he tore something. Like he didn't physically tear something. I don't
Right.
necessarily, again, I don't know his injury, like and how tendonitis. I mean, I'll tell you, I have arthritis in my shoulder. It's not the same as tendonitis completely, but I mean,
Sure.
it's probably pretty close. And to me, I don't know. I'm not saying it's necessarily just going to up and disappear, but he clearly tried a bunch of different things. He went overseas, I believe,
He did.
some specialty
Germany, I think.
doctors. Yeah. And this is not, I mean, like, he doesn't have to be like crazy explosive, in my opinion, for him to pay off. Like, he just needs to continue to see the volume, and he's in an offense that we've seen what he can do. I mean, I'm looking here at his, I mean, breakaway run rates in the year. I know this cat's fucking killing me. Breakaway run rates in 2024, he was number one, right? I mean, he had that explosiveness there, but I mean, 67 receptions, like the receptions are just not
Mm.
going anywhere. I mean, I don't know. I don't, and they didn't add a guy to that room that makes me think that they're not going to. They paid this guy a lot of money. They paid him a
Sure.
lot of money. They're not going to not use him. Their window's closing.
Um, Real quick, JJ, who by the way has an adorable picture of a dog there, said, "Do you guys trust Anthony Richardson this year?" No, I don't. I don't even care what the particulars are after that. I know there was that out route that he threw yesterday, and then everybody was posting on X saying, "Oh, look at the form, guys! I played quarterback in my freshman year of high school." And I'm not gonna brag, but I mean I could sling an out route, man. I could make that work. So yeah, I'm not buying into it. I don't trust him. I still think that we're going to see him take Tyrone Tracy, but I don't like it. Um, I still think Daniel Jones is starting more games in 2025 than Anthony Richardson is. I'm not saying it's a great thing, but it's kind of a pick your poison situation with the Colts. And also, Anthony Richardson might not give the Colts much of a choice when he gets injured or when he wants to take himself out of the game. So, no, I don't trust Anthony Richardson at all.
Oh shit, I'm on the clock. I'm listening to
You
your
are.
take. I'm
Sorry about
listening
that.
to your amazing take,
Oh, wow.
and
Very nice of you. Now I'm blushing. See what happens?
you know who I'm who you know who we I'm gonna so there's three things to address here. Number one,
Oh, right.
JJ, I see your questions. He's asking us, do you think he said Darnold left? We just need to know, are you in a startup right now, and who are your current quarterbacks? Because you said you have Daniel so far, Tua and Stafford. I mean, I mean, you could add more quarterbacks. I mean, Tua and Stafford are volatile. Stafford with the age and Tua with the injury health, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to know who else is available besides Richardson, if anybody. So that's number one. Number
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
he said he likes Stafford. I like Stafford too. I think you can get away
So do
with
I.
Stafford being your QB2 if you have a really good QB1. I think the quarterback 2 in Superflex is overrated when you have an elite QB1. I don't think you need to have that good of a quarterback if you're going to pass up on really good players. You can get away with a Matt Stafford or a Geno Smith like in your QB2 spot and be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to like I mean, I like Stafford too, but I do think JJ, I think you need to start being
Oh,
proactive in
all he has
terms
is
of
Daniels.
all he has is Daniels. Okay.
I would be
Then
taking
okay.
I would be taking Stafford. I would
I would
take
be
the safe
taking
bet.
Stafford.
I'd take Stafford.
But what I
Yeah.
was about to say, which you would do even if you go ahead and go get Stafford, I would start to prepare for some kind of exit strategy in terms of I mean, Stafford is pretty much on a year-to-year basis at this point.
Yeah.
We heard who were the Rams trying to who were the Rams trying to draft a quarterback? Oh, weren't they trying to get Jackson Dart? I thought I heard some
The
rumblings about
Rams, there
that.
were there were rumors, there were talks about it.
So so the Rams are starting to, be proactive. So the only thing I'd say to you, I would get Stafford, but if you get Stafford, be prepared to make more moves after that to shore up the future.
I mean, I would be willing to just to go take Devonta Smith and just
You're
take a
also on
chance
the clock
on.
too, Pete.
I know I have somebody queued up, so but I
Okay,
would,
good.
yeah, I would take Devonta Smith honestly, and just risk the chance of, I mean, of missing out and whatever. Then maybe you got to trade for a quarterback. But I would take Devonta Smith over Stafford and those guys and just
What?
take whoever's left. Hopefully.
All right.
Um. So so while we're here, I do want to
What the hell
bring
is
up
that all about?
what's that?
Sorry, you could keep talking, but I just have to say out loud. I mean, someone just took JJ McCarthy at quarterback before you, and quarterbacks up are Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott. I don't know what's going on over there because that wasn't an auto draft, so that was on purpose. That was intentional. I'm hoping you're a Vikings fan at best. Otherwise, I don't know how you explain that. But go ahead, Pete. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's
No,
it's like,
I
what are we doing?
I get it. Um. So I do want to talk about Brandon Ayuk,
Mhm.
because I get Brandon Ayuk here pretty late. His ADP right now on DraftKings is 93.4. And I think that's super dang low. For a guy that is for what it's worth, is going to be the wide receiver one in the offense, right? You could say, well, no, that's Kittle, or well, no, that's Ricky Pearsall. I like Ricky Pearsall. I don't think Ricky Pearsall is going to be wide receiver one unless Brandon Ayuk is struggling to come back healthy and it takes him time. But from what I've read and what I've saw, like he looks like he's progressing well. And I mean, I just don't know how Brandon Ayuk is falling possibly outside of the top 100 on one of the best offenses in football. I
Yeah.
get the 49ers had a down year last year, but they lose Debo Samuel. If people truly think CMC is going to take a step back, that's one less mouth that's going to get peppered with volume. And they
Right.
have a young, I mean, look, Juwan Jennings as well. I'm not going to discount him that he's not there, but I don't know. Brandon Ayuk, I mean, he came off a 2023 season where, I mean, he had 1,300 yards, and I know he had a slow start to last year, but I mean, at that price, I don't know. I mean, if Brandon Ayuk is healthy this year, he's a top 20 wide receiver at least. I don't know
I
about top
think
10, definitely not. But I mean,
sure. Right.
I don't know. I just think that value is too much to pass up.
No, I get it. And once you get to that point, yes, it is about value. The one thing I'll say, and obviously if people watch the show, they know I'm a diehard 49er fan. So, whatever. So I kind of pay attention to this stuff. But the one thing we haven't heard about Ayuk, we have heard, yes, that he's progressing well, but what we haven't heard is what the expectation is, not definitively, as to when he'll be on the field. We haven't heard anything about the pup. We haven't heard anything about week one. So while he's healing well, and that's great, and apparently the injury was worse than other particular knee tears. So I think that's why he's falling where he's falling. I think there's a certain camp like you who you're preying on the people who don't want to draft Ayuk because they're worried about when he'll be back, and you sit back and you say, all right, well, I'll get him here in the 8th round, and and I'll walk away laughing. So I mean, if he starts week one, it's incredible value. If he's out the first 4 weeks, I still think 8th round. I still think you're doing great because he's not one of you. You're not relying on him to be your wide receiver, your one, your wide receiver two. Just when he shows up, he's there. I will say, like you mentioned, Pearsall, I would put, and I know I pushed back a lot on this before last season, and this was also before everybody in the world on the Niners got hurt. If Brandon Ayuk is out the first 4 weeks, Juwan Jennings will be the leader in the clubhouse in terms of wide receivers.
Sure.
He just will. Pearsall will be better than he was in that sample size last year, but Jennings will be the guy, which is why I did draft him. But to your point, I took Jennings in the 7th round. You waited to get Ayuk till the 8th round. So if Ayuk's ready week one, there's a bit of egg on my face in terms of the Jennings Ayuk thing.
I mean, I think both are. But look, you're a lot of times, right? Like when it's like, look, Brandon Ayuk signed a big time contract. Like
Yeah, he did.
Debo Samuel is gone. They made their decision. Now, maybe you might sit here and say, well, they couldn't move Ayuk because he's coming off the injury, but they just extended him. Like,
Right.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago that they extended him, right? So, I mean, he signed a pretty large deal. I mean, he's due to make this year his cap hit's not that high. I think it's 11 million and then 16 million in 2026. But then he's got in 2027 and 2028, he's got 42 and 44 million dollars in cap
Yeah.
hits.
I mean, it was $120 million extension,
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. By the way, you want to talk about ADP and values? The quarterbacks have really gotten kicked down the road. I didn't want to take Caleb Williams, but I'm going to take him here. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't pass up. Right, I take him at the 94th spot, and I mean, I'm sorry, his ADP is the 93.8, and I take him here at the 126. I mean, I didn't
Yep.
really want to reach
I
because I
like it.
had Nick, but I'll pair them both up.
Well, I mean, I took Purdy, and I went ahead and just right after you here in the 11th round, I took Drake May. If Caleb Williams was still there, I probably would have gone him.
Yeah.
But I'll take Drake May in this spot. So
Yeah.
and I've done this in some of these best ball drafts, and I've liked the way it turns out. I take my quarterbacks while I don't take them right away usually. I do kind of take them pretty close to one another. Like there was one I did the other day where I took Justin Fields, who I think could be awesome, but could also be Justin Fields. So
Right.
I went ahead the next round. I took Justin Herbert, and I still like the way the rest of my roster turned out. So that's something I plan to test out a little bit more as we get more into the late spring and summer in terms of these drafts. So, but yeah, 12th round coming
Yeah.
up.
So my I've made the conscious decision this year, especially in best ball. I mean, I'm not touching tight ends early. I took Evan Ingram here at the 105. That's fair. I mean I take him pretty late. But that was, I get the Bo Nix pairing. I stack him there. But overall, and then I'll help answer JJ as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, when I look at the numbers for these tight ends from last year, and I argue with Coach about it all the time because he says, "Well, what if Loveland is tight end 10 this year?" And I'm like, tight end 10 is the equivalent of like wide receiver 38, and then the difference in points per the points per game from tight end 10 to like tight end 16 17 is minuscule, right? It's not
Sure.
much. So like to me, I'd rather go out there and take a couple of dart throws on, guys like Jake Ferguson, and then maybe pair it up with Dalton Kincaid, and then maybe go get a rookie like like I don't want to spend up on tight ends this year at all in best ball. Like I just have no desire. Like unless it's Trey McBride or Brock Bowers, anybody else in between, I don't want to touch. Like I just and even with Brock Bowers, I love
Mm.
Bowers, but I mean, we're talking about I mean, there has never been a tight end that's been drafted round 1 that has returned the value of being a top 10 player in fantasy points. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but I mean,
Kelsey had
historically,
to have at one point, no?
not when he was
No?
his ADP was first round. Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right.
I
Whatever.
said, yeah, all
But
right.
no, no, but I get it. I mean,
I
I
just
that
that's my
that would be
thing.
the only guy I could name,
I'm just not trying to spend up on tight ends this year unless it's McBride or Bowers. I don't
Sure.
trust anybody else confidently. I think it's extremely gray after that of like it could be Kittle, or Kittle could have injuries this year, or CMC could come back and Ayuk, and then
Yeah.
that takes. I mean, there's so many variables. You could say Mark Andrews. Well, Mark Andrews is possibly not going to be there next year, and so do they ride him hard because they're going to get rid of him, or do they say, hey, Isaiah Likely is the future, like we're going to get him more involved this year? Do you look at you look at some of the other guys that are going higher, and it's just there's too many question marks, and I just yeah, I just I'd rather take dart throws in best ball at the tight end position like later on, and not spend up, and that's just kind of how I'm playing it this year. There might be sometimes I take a guy like to get exposure, like a
Mhm.
Kittle. Sometimes I take
Right.
Kittle.
Yep. That's what
If
I
the
did.
board, if I just really don't love what's on the board,
Yeah.
that's different. But very rarely am I gonna reach and go grab tight ends in the first 100 picks. Unless I'm getting one of those top guys
Yeah.
in McBride or Bowers, and
No, it, it,
I don't want to spend on Bowers either. It's
now
an insane cost.
I will say for as many best ball drafts as I do, which is going to be an embarrassing, horrific, or gorgeous amount, I'm probably not going to have a ton of shares of Brock Bowers for the reason you're talking about. Now, I do every now and again, I do dabble like I did in this draft here. I took George Kittle early on, which I believe, if I'm scrolling up here, where was that? The 5th round. So yeah, little rich for my blood, but every now and again we all like to get a juicy steak. So went ahead and did that. The only thing I'll say about Kittle is Kittle does get dinged up here and there, but the injuries are never really too significant. Knock on wood. Um, 2020 was when he had the shoulder injury, I believe, that kept him out for a while. He only played in 8 games, but outside of that, they're usually little small injuries, and then he's fine. He can proceed. But yeah, no, but I hear you. But I'm kind of in your camp in terms of waiting on tight end at that point, and I'm not in the clock anymore, so maybe I got auto picked. But I was finishing my
Mm-mm.
thoughts, so it's okay.
I didn't
I'm over
realize.
it. Who'd I get? I'll take Tucker Craft. Screw it. It's whatever. Oh, there you go. There's a second tight end. Now I don't got to worry about tight end
And
for a while.
Kraft is a good example too of somebody that like I'd be willing to take chances on. honestly. Like I'd be willing to take chances
Yeah.
on Kraft too.
Yeah, I'm actually I mean, usually I'm pissed off by auto picks, but I'll take that auto pick. It's okay. Second tight end. But did we get to JJ's question? I know I threw it up there.
Yeah. Why don't you pull it up and read it first? I'm just sending something out real quick.
He was saying, sorry, last question. Since I have Jaden Daniels, should I stay with Devonta Smith or Terry McLaurin? I mean, I would stay with Terry McLaurin. I know we talked about Debo and he's going to have involvement in this offense, but Terry McLaurin will still be, it doesn't mean Terry McLaurin is going away. Let's not forget Debo Samuel. Forget how old Terry McLaurin is, but Debo Samuel is 29 years old. I still think Terry McLaurin is going to lead this team in targets. I don't always love to do the what the hell is the word? Jesus, people stacking. Stacking's fun sometimes. I don't want to be married to stacking, but in terms of this question, yes, I will take the wide receiver 1 on the Commanders when I have the Commanders quarterback over the wide receiver 2 in Philadelphia. So that's where
Yeah,
I
I
feel there.
I don't I don't really put a ton of value on stacking players unless it's best ball. If we're talking dynasty and stuff, so much changes year over year. Dynasty are guys that you're making long-term commitments to. And so I'm not now if we're talking elite stacks, like okay, you have Joe Burrow and you can go get T Higgins, like I'm not bringing up Chase because I mean in a startup for Dynasty, you're not gonna get Burrow and Chase unless you are like trading back in to go get Burrow. Likely,
Right.
if you're getting Chase, you're not getting him on the way back unless you play in a Fugazi league. Somehow Burrow falls back to you. It's not gonna happen.
What's
But
a Fugazi?
Fugazi, right.
Mhm.
But in terms of Terry, I like I like Terry. I think the problem sometimes we get so hung up on age at times. And it's just one of those things where Terry's 29, he's gonna turn 30, but his skill set is not one that concerns me with age. He's not a speed guy. He's a guy that can catch above the rim. And I'm on the clock here, so let me go ahead and make my selection here. So I'll go with Algier just because
Mhm.
he gets some love every once in a while.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but when you look at Terry's game, I mean he's a guy that I mean his target separation, he was 73rd in the NFL last year. Like he is not. I mean but contested catch rate 6th. 58.6%. DK Metcalf should put on some Terry McLaurin tape if he wants to learn how to catch contested catches, because that's a guy who knows how to do it. I mean, he's not a he's not a guy that's I mean his Terry McLaurin's route win rate against zone coverage was 91 in all of football. Now, his man coverage
Not
win
shabby.
rate was much better. Number 7 in the NFL. So he did win versus man much more, but he wasn't getting a ton of separation. Only 1.41 target separation. So all that to say, I would take Terry. Sometimes people will look and say, "Well, Devonta's younger. Go with Terry." Go with Devonta because he's younger. But
Right.
like, people
Sure.
get so focused on age and dynasty. Sometimes it just drives me nuts,
Yeah.
man.
I
It
mean,
drives me nuts.
and how much different is that? I don't have. I can look it up. I don't have it right in front of me. But how much different are their ages too? Especially, I mean,
Uh,
Devonta Smith is 26,
yeah, Terry's
and what's
29.6.
Terry McLaurin
He's
29?
turning 30. Yeah, he's turning
Okay,
30.
all right. So he's the same age as Debo. Okay, so what I said earlier, disregard. But yeah, that's not as drastic enough of an age gap for me to be like, nope,
I
got
mean,
to go Devonta.
Devonta's about to turn 27, and he's
Sure,
not a big body receiver. I'm not saying he's slowing down either, but I don't feel like his skill set translates as well later on in your career as much as a guy like Terry who can win contested catches.
right.
That's the skill set that doesn't really go away.
And again, I don't want to be married to this philosophy, but when we're talking about Devonta Smith and Terry McLaurin not being that terribly far from one another, except for the contested catches you're talking about, then I'll use the stacking as a deciding factor
Sure.
for me. That
I think that's
then
fair.
I'll use it. It doesn't like it shouldn't always be I could have a stack conversation over. This is where I'm going. It's you should do basically everything Pete just laid out there, talking about everything, and then incorporate the stack potential.
Yeah, I think stack can be a tiebreaker if you're really stuck on something. But I'm not factoring stacks into long-term roster decisions with dynasty. Again, I mean, things change so quick. I mean, you're talking about like say you like Devonta Smith. What if this team goes out and adds another big time receiver to this room next year, right? I mean, I don't know, but say you're trying to stack Devonta with Jalen, like it's
And
just
you never know with Howie Roseman too. That could be a thing.
yeah, I mean, they don't really have a good wide receiver 3.
Nope.
So would it be that crazy for them to finally, invest in that room again? Like, I mean, they did trade a 3rd round pick last year for the kid out of Washington, who ironically we're talking about the Commanders and their division rivals. What was his name? Uh, he's the one that was supposed to be good. I think he came out of Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up
Starts
the.
with a D, I think.
Let me see.
But
Oh,
Jahan Dotson, Jahan Dotson, Jahan
oh,
Dotson.
Dotson. Oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
Dotson. I thought you were talking
that's what
about
I'm
this
saying.
year's actual
But
NFL draft. Never mind.
they gave up a 3rd round pick for Dotson
Yeah, yeah.
and 2 sevenths. Now they gave Dotson, they got Dotson in a 5th, but I mean, they I just I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. You're good.
Untitled Fantasy said Kraft only needed 50 receptions to be the half PPR tight end 9 last year with injuries to Watson and Dobbs. Yeah, and I'm losing faith in the other guys in that room. So yeah, I mean, I think Kraft is a guy that's hyper efficient with the ball in his hands. For whatever reason, he seems to put up points.
Dotson
What?
last year. No, I'm just looking. Dotson last year during the regular season, 19 catches, 216 yards, no touchdowns.
I think he had a touchdown in the playoffs though. In
He
that in
did.
that in
Yeah,
that
that's
Washington game. In that Washington
he.
game too, I think.
Yeah, no, he definitely had a touchdown in the playoffs. I remember that.
Is either Rams or
Um,
Washington. I think it was Washington because that's
I
just
think it
such a
was Washington
it's
too.
such a Nick Sirianni thing to
All right. Well, we got
do that.
yeah, he. Nick Sirianni. I mean, all right. Can I just say this out loud? Nick Sirianni, bit of a douchebag. Like we all agree, right?
Sure.
I think even I think even Eagles fans would probably sit back and go, "Yeah, fair."
You know what? I get it. People will say the same thing about Sean Payton, though. I mean,
True.
you like these guys unless they're not yours, right? Same with like Aqib Talib.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you hate him unless he's one of your guys. And
I
I
hate to
honestly,
love
I
him.
think Sirianni's a little bit different. He puts his foot in his mouth, like, but like what for whatever it is. I mean, I get it. You can make the argument that Howie is setting things up for him.
Sure.
Win games. Players love him on his team.
I know. I know.
It's just a
We were
perfect
wrong, by the way.
combination between coach and GM. What?
No, it is. It is. Devonta Smith, he did have a postseason touchdown, but it was not against Washington. It was not against the Rams. It was against the Packers in the wild card round.
It was Dotson did. Yeah. Okay.
Dotson, yes, correct. Sorry.
Yeah. You
Yes.
said Devonta. You're good.
Oh, sorry. His one catch of the game too. Actually, one of 3 catches throughout the whole postseason. He caught 2 in the Super Bowl. He didn't catch anything against the Rams or the Commanders.
Well, good enough, nice enough for him to be able to at least catch. If he was going to catch anything, it was in the Super Bowl when they were.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget, dude. They were losing 34-0 with like 2 minutes left in the third. I mean,
Game was.
so I thought about this the other day, and I want to check it out real quick. Hang on.
I think my team is better than yours, by the way. Sidebar. We should do a vote on that on social media.
So the Broncos lost 43-8 against the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that you bring it up, yeah. Jeez, yeah,
Now,
that must have been that night sucked for both of us.
yeah, I know. Now, Eagles win 40-22.
Hmm.
But I think it was obvious that the Eagles took their foot off the gas.
Sure,
Um, but you could also make the argument that maybe Seattle took their foot off the gas. But when watching that game against Seattle, they really didn't. The Chiefs ended up winning that game. I'm not winning. Ended up scoring in that game versus backups. Like that Xavier Worthy touchdown was against backups. Um,
right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess on paper it doesn't look like it was as bad, but I mean, mind you, they were losing 34-0 at one point. Then it became 34-6, and then they scored 16 in the fourth quarter. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy to say that it might have been worse. But
Definitely could
yeah,
have
I
been
don't know.
worse. It could have been worse.
Yeah, I,
And listen, I don't care if it
yeah,
sounds petty. I'm a 49er fan. I've lost 2 Super Bowls to the Chiefs. It felt good to watch them get their ass kicked in the Super Bowl, just like it did when they lost to the Buccaneers. Call me petty.
sure.
Guess what? I'll wear it like a badge of honor. I don't care. But no, I enjoyed that Super Bowl. It was a fun one. Plus, I was chilling at my buddy's house, who's a diehard Eagles fan, so it was great vibes that night. So it's good times. That being said, now I hope they
Yeah,
lose,
JJ
but
said
whatever.
Kansas City scored a touchdown in garbage time, which made it the score look closer. They got their asses whooped. Yeah, I mean Denver did too, right? So, and technically the margin for the win for Seattle was much bigger than Denver. But yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. It's just watching that game, it just it felt worse than it was for the Chiefs. But maybe it was because it was so unexpected. But this Denver team was really good that year. But keeping in mind, they didn't have Von Miller for that Super Bowl or Champ Bailey. Did you know that? Both guys were hurt that
Uh,
year.
I was busy getting auto picked. I got fucking Taysom Hill. God, fuck. Well,
I took Mason
sometimes
Taylor.
the
So
auto pick works out great. Sometimes it fucking blows. So there you go. Ugh, that's annoying. I was looking
Taysom
to
Hill, man, is
see,
where's
where Shaheed went. We see him out here. Where is that man?
no. Did you type his name in? I don't
Wh-
think he went. I don't
Yeah,
think he was
started
drafted
typing
yet.
it in. Son of a bitch. Where the hell is he? Where is that
Mm,
man? Not to
I
find.
can't type him in. It doesn't let me type him in.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
sorry.
he did
This is
go.
gonna
I can't
make you
pull up
guys.
I can't pull up the big board. So
Yeah. Well, this is gonna make you guys freak out because I'm like scrolling and looking now everywhere. So you're gonna have to deal with it. But where is that man? Go ahead, Pete. You talk about something nice. I don't think. I think he's gone, or he's just not here, or I'm blind,
yeah,
or both.
my tight end theory in best ball also to add to that, uh there's more spots in DraftKings than Underdog too. I mean, how many more? We have three more draft picks. I think it's three or
Yeah.
four more spots. Someone's gonna crush me for that because I don't know I don't remember specifically how many spots. I think it's like two, three, or four, one of those. But in theory, you could just take a couple, two more tight ends. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like a lot of these tight ends, they provide value by just scoring a touchdown on the week. Many starters, like I mean, how many times are tight ends like the tight end freaking 8 on the week scored had 30 yards and a touchdown and he was a top tight end on the week. Like I mean, so to me, I don't know, it's worth it to just continue to take shots at tight end. Especially in DraftKings when you have so many picks. Like Arroyo for Seattle is on the board here. Cole Kmet, I get it. They drafted Loveland, but to me, I just would just keep taking shots on tight ends, man. I don't know. It seems like a strategy that I'm going to be doing a lot this year. So
Yeah.
keep going on
Um,
about it.
I can't find Rashid anywhere, so I'm just gonna pretend that he left the league and just leave it alone. Even though he
He might have.
clearly didn't. But I will say for the record, whatever, I do like him in these drafts, especially in these later rounds. I don't know why it's not coming up when I type in his name, but I do like him. late
Yeah.
in these rounds, which is where I tend to usually get him. So we are now rounding out the 18th round, headed into the 19th. I got 2 more picks until I go get some Chinese food. Feel free to hammer in the chat which I should get from Chinese food. Which one I should get.
They don't care.
Little
But it's sad that the
they
last
might
time we
care.
were live, I got Chinese food,
Yes, I remember that.
and
A
we were
good point.
doing this. We were
Yes.
drafting the best ball live.
Yes, I
Um,
remember that. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Maybe a little sesame chicken tonight. Maybe a little bit of that. A little bit of wonton soup action. A little bit of that.
Sesame
All
chicken
right.
sounds pretty good.
You know, it is excellent. So, but you're right. No one gives a shit because no one said a word in the chat since I mentioned that I'm going to get Chinese. All right, we got 2 more rounds here. How do you feel about your team overall? You could read off a couple of highlights if you want. You don't have to read the whole roster if you don't want to. We could post on social media, but you got 2 more picks left. What's your takeaway of the team?
Um, I don't really like this one too much.
Okay.
A lot of risks in this one. I don't really love it. I mean, my quarterbacks are Nix and Caleb. My running backs are Gibbs, Chase Brown, Charbonnet, uh, Isaac Garendo, Tyler Algier, Dobbins, and Roshan Johnson. And then I'm not even in love with my receivers. I have London, Tet, Worthy, Roma Dunze, Ayuk. I don't mind taking a chance on Ayuk and a Dunze, but having Worthy and McMillan as my wide receiver 2 and 3, I don't really love. And I have Kyle Williams. I'm not really in love with my team. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You?
Well, I like my team quite a bit. I mean, I don't like getting auto drafted Taysom Hill. I don't like that my dog won't stop barking. Um, but I do like here in the 8th and 10th round, I took Tyrone Tracy and still got Cam Scatterboo. So
Hmm.
I've kind of got the monopoly there on that Giants backfield. I get it. Some people would say, "Who the hell cares? Giants stink," but I'll take it. I'm gonna put myself on mute so I can yell at my dog.
Okay.
There we go.
Um.
I'm back. And I got 10, 5, 4, 3. We're gonna get auto picked. Just gotta do it. I'm not rushing.
Oh my
This isn't
gosh.
supermarket sweep. Jackson Dart. All right, whatever. If
There you
Russell
go.
Wilson's not unlimited, whatever. If I was gonna go with a third quarterback there, which actually I was looking to do, I was gonna go with the Joe Flacco spot there. Because again, like I said earlier in the show, I do think he starts more games than Anthony Richardson. Hey, you done barking yet? Cool. Sit down. Thanks. But yeah, but I'll take Jackson Dart, even though I don't think he sees the field all that much in year 1. Do you envision that at all?
You said year 1. What was that? Sorry.
Jackson Dart, you think he's seeing the field in year 1 for any kind of substantial amount of time? Because I don't.
I, you know, I don't know. It's really tough because with Dayball, does he feel like he can get away with the
It's
creativity enough with Russ? Is Russ
sure.
limited creativity wise?
Well,
I don't know if he's athletic enough anymore. And limited, unlimited, right? I get the
mhm.
whole
Yep.
play on
No,
words
I
there.
smirked.
But yeah, I mean, Dart can do a lot of things with his legs. He's exciting, and Dayball's. We keep talking about like I don't think this is make or break for them now. I really don't. I truly do not. I thought it was a mistake if they brought them back because I was worried that they were going to have a 1 year leash and they have a playoff mandate. But I think this Giants team is going to be better than people expect. I think their defense is going to be better and keep them into games. I don't know how many wins
Yeah.
they're going to get, but they're going to be tougher. They add Scatterboo, right? They add the quarterbacks in that room enough that they're quality enough to keep them in games. I think we play onto the narrative so much that, oh, it's going to be Russ or Winston because it gives them the best chance to win. But you're telling me that Brian Daboll drafts his first quarterback ever and he's going to go out and get fired and never letting Dart really get a strong sample size with him? I don't buy it. I don't. I think Dart's going to see the field. I don't know if it's more than half of a season, but I think he's going to see the field. I think Russ, it's going to be a little messy. I think it's going to be messy with Russ, and I don't think Brian Daboll. It's the first time he's ever drafted a quarterback, and they're just like he's just going to be like no, like unless Dart's a disaster and he's so
Right.
bad that like they bring him into camp and they realize wow this guy's really far behind. But
Sure.
does that make sense? Like I'm kind of changed.
I-
I think it's changed. I think Dayball and Schoen are getting another season. I truly think that. I think they did a really good job in the draft. I think they did a good job in free agency, and I think they're giving them I think they're truly giving them another season.
I hope
Unless
you're
it's a
right.
disaster. Unless it's a fucking
Right.
absolute disaster.
Well, I hope you're right because even though I'm generally not a Giants fan, I do like Daboll. I do like Joe Shane. I do kind of root for those guys. And I will just say their last I mean, we'll see what happens with this draft class, but on paper this year and what they did last year, they've had back-to-back good drafts in my opinion. So, does that help you stay? Yes. I will say the one thing, and again, I hope you're right, but that schedule, and I don't know if I've talked to you about it on air, or if I talked to Anthony about it on air, or Matt, or whomever. That schedule for the Giants is absolutely brutal. I haven't seen a team finish in last place with that tough of a schedule. So, do the Maras kind of keep that in mind when assessing the season? We'll see. But the schedule's brutal. That's the one thing I'll say. But I hope you're right. I hope they get another go around.
Yeah, the schedule is
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they're gonna get a chance unless it's an absolute disaster.
Well, I
So we'll
will
see.
say but I will say as we get ready to close out this draft, this isn't a this is a bit of a rarity for us, but we got people coming on right after us, right?
We do. Yeah. So the
There you go.
mediators are
Thank you.
going to be on in the next 15 to
15
20
minutes or
minutes.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 20 minutes. They're going over trade targets right now for dynasty guys that they think are values to buy. And they're going to do some trade analysis. So as well as maybe look at some people's teams for them if you have them. So go ahead and maybe hit the reminder that stream's open and the studio is already set up so you could just hit the bell icon on the channel and once they go live in 15-20 minutes you'll be notified and be able to hop right in.
All right. Well, there you go. That'll do it for us, all right.
That will enjoy the rest of the night. Head over to that stream as it starts in a few minutes and we'll see you guys
Yep.
next time.